and final. Joining us now from our Haifa studio is attorney ציפי Iser of the Center for Environmental Protection at the Netanya Academic College. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi.
First of all, what do you make of these very disturbing findings in Haifa, and how concerned should residents of that area be?
The residents, of course, are concerned, and it's obvious. I think the most important thing is that now we don't have yet the results, the final results of this research, but we can urge the government to take precautionary steps. We know the precautionary principle, it's very known all over the world, and when the research hasn't final conclusions, but we can see that there's a danger to public health. I think this is exactly the situation where the government should do and not wait until the research is going to be finished within a few years. It's a long research.
Haifa Mayor Yonah Lav objected to what he called the premature revelation of this study and demanded that the Environmental Protection Ministry expand the study to other municipalities, not only his city. Does this problem exist in other areas across the country?
Excuse me, I didn't hear your question. Can you repeat your question?
Certainly. The Haifa mayor, he said he called the study premature, and he said that the Environmental Protection Ministry expand the study to other municipalities, not only his city. Does this problem exist in other areas across the country?
The exposure to pollution, to air pollution, is very dangerous, and when people are exposed to dangerous materials, so we can guess that there is a potential danger. Now we're talking about an area that has many times rose this thought about very large exposure to those materials. So I think that we're focused now on Haifa Bay area. I think we should urge the government to do what the government can do in this period until the findings are getting fixed and brought by the researchers to the government. Until this period is ended, we can do few things that are economically justified, and we can protect the population around this area by precautionary steps that can be taken for this period.
What are these precautionary steps that you're suggesting?
There are a few changes. I cannot get into details in this short time, but we can do a few things about technologies, about fuels, that can be changed in the process, in the industry process, so that the process would be cleaner and better to the environment and to the public health. And these are things that the government should encourage, should support. And now we know that the Minister of Environment actually put on the table now a new national plan for this area. I think that vis-a-vis these conclusions or these details that has been published, he can enlarge this plan and do more things to lower the level of pollution in this area for this period.
At the same time, we're hearing of plans to expand the number of refineries. How does this fit in with these findings?
I think these findings were coming up because the government and the agencies are actually taking into account all environmental things that should be taken into account. So I think these findings are a part of this period and should affect, of course, the conclusion that would be made in the end of this process. So absolutely it's relevant, and I think it comes because of that process. Actually, I have heard that the budget to this research came from the industry that actually filed the petition to or the request to enlarge their activity.
So how does this go hand in hand?
How it's going to be ended, I don't know, but I think those findings or those details that have been published should, of course, raise a lot of awareness to this consideration that we're not very, very highly respected in our country. I think it's about time that we think not only about economy, it's important, of course, economy and development, but now we should talk about sustainable development, about thinking how the development is affecting the population around.
One more question. What do you say to those who claim that refineries and local factories, they're a big source of livelihood for many of the area's residents? How do you answer them?
Their people also live there, so I think the concern, it's not only the concern of the municipality or the population, it's the concern also of the industry, and they should be a part of the process. And I think they, of course, they have the responsibility to take into account environmental consideration as well.
Thank you so much for being our guest this evening and for your insight. Threats of a nationwide municipal strike 1 week